In the heart of Canadian politics, a new battle cry echoes, Canada First. Pierre Poilievre, the fiery leader of the Conservative Party, stands against decades of Canadian subservience to American interests. His message resonates with Canadians tired of playing second fiddle to their southern neighbor. Poilievre's Canada First stance is a vision for a stronger, more independent Canada. He argues Canadian politicians have been too accommodating to the US, harming Canadian jobs and sovereignty. Poilievre's vision is clear, a Canada that stands tall, unafraid to defend its interests. At the heart of Poilievre's critique lies Mark Carney, the former Bank of Canada governor and Liberal leadership hopeful. Poilievre paints Carney as a globalist elitist, more concerned with international finance than the well-being of everyday Canadians. Carney's tenure at the Bank of Canada, according to Poilievre, was marked by policies that favored foreign investment over domestic growth. Poilievre points to Carney's decision to relocate Brookfield Asset Management's headquarters to New York City as a prime example of his misplaced loyalties. This move, coming just days after Trump threatened Canada with tariffs, is seen by Poilievre as a betrayal of Canadian interests. Carney's defenders argue that the relocation was a purely business decision, but Poilievre sees it as a symbolic capitulation to American pressure. Poilievre's attacks on Carney are not limited to his business dealings. He accuses Carney of being a cheerleader for carbon taxes and other environmental regulations that Poilievre believes stifle Canadian industry. While Carney argues that these policies are necessary to combat climate change, Poilievre sees them as job-killing measures that benefit foreign competitors. Poilievre often cites the ongoing softwood lumber dispute as a prime example of American protectionism and disregard for Canadian interests. The United States has long accused Canada of unfairly subsidizing its lumber industry, imposing tariffs that harm Canadian businesses and workers. Poilievre argues that these tariffs are baseless and are simply a way for the United States to protect its own lumber industry from competition. The softwood lumber dispute has been a thorn in the side of Canada-US relations for decades. Each time a negotiated settlement is reached, it seems that the United States finds a new reason to impose tariffs. This endless cycle of disputes has cost the Canadian economy billions of dollars and has put thousands of jobs at risk. Poilievre argues that the Liberal government has been too passive in the face of American aggression on softwood lumber. He believes that Canada needs to take a tougher stance, using all available tools, including retaliatory tariffs, to defend its interests. For Poilievre, the softwood lumber dispute is not just about lumber. It is about standing up to American bullying and asserting Canadian sovereignty. Section 4. Energy Insecurity, a nation hamstrung. Poilievre's Canada. First vision extends beyond trade to encompass energy security. He argues that Canada, blessed with abundant natural resources, has become a prisoner of its own indecision and misguided policies. He points to the cancellation of projects like the Energy East pipeline and the Liberal government's reluctance to approve new LNG export terminals as missed opportunities to assert Canadian energy independence and provide much-needed energy to global markets. Poilievre argues that Canada's energy sector is being held hostage by radical environmental ideology. He believes that the Liberal government's focus on carbon taxes and restrictive environmental regulations is stifling investment and preventing Canada from realizing its full energy potential. This, he argues, not only hurts the Canadian economy, but also weakens Canada's strategic position on the world stage. Poilievre's solution is clear: unleash Canada's energy sector. He calls for the approval of new pipelines, LNG terminals, and other energy infrastructure projects. He believes that Canada should be a global energy superpower, supplying its allies with reliable and affordable energy while creating jobs and prosperity at home. Section 5. A vision for a sovereign Canada. Pierre Poilievre's Canada First message is more than just a slogan. It is a call to action. He urges Canadians to reject the status quo and demand better from their leaders. Critics dismiss his rhetoric as simplistic populism, arguing the world is more complex. Yet, his supporters see him as a refreshing voice, unafraid to speak truth to power. Whether Poilievre's vision will come to pass remains to be seen. In a world of uncertainty, his Canada First message offers a powerful rallying cry.